we're just going to get back into our conversation that we had before. I don't want to draw too much attention to it because I want you to feel comfortable and to be yourself. But if you would, in tradition of our podcast, would you please take a big deep breath with me?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to invite everybody to just breathe. Big deep breath. All right. So, I'm Angelene, the host for today for this episode, this podcast. Angelene, and I have Oscar here. He's a really good friend of mine, and I was just talking about my experience about the heart chakra, and more so along the lines of like how my heart is. Oscar, are you okay if I just read my notes again and then we can go off of that topic?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, if our listeners don't mind, I'm just going to read some notes I wrote down from my meditation today. So, as an empath, I do believe myself an empath. Sometimes I've been fighting it, and I forget, I just basically fight the truth of who I really am. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll try accepting the truth of maybe I am an empath. Let's go with it. Let's experiment. And I was reading something on how to, turn myself away from all the negative feelings and thoughts that I've been having. So I read something online. I was just trying to look for answers to experiment to see, okay, if this person is an empath and maybe I am an empath, maybe I can try this exercise or this thing that they're doing to help myself. But through reading, I had this epiphany. I had this sort of revelation, and I just grabbed a pencil and a paper and I started writing. So this is what I wrote. As an empath, I absorb people's emotions. I take them as my own. It becomes nearly impossible to distinguish myself from the others' emotional universe. Sometimes I can hold on to others' emotional universe without knowing, therefore living and acting and behaving as the other would. I know if I train hard enough, I can absorb the positive out of people, and I can use that for my own benefit. That's why in high school, I felt like things always came pretty easy to me, because without knowing, I was absorbing the skills of others' talents and energies. And as an empath, I have to make a conscious decision to let go of the negative emotions I absorbed. I have to name the emotion or the source from which it originated, like a person's name, or a situation or something like that. An emotion, like name the emotion, like if I'm feeling very depressed, or if I'm feeling very sad, or if I let myself down, or if I feel guilt. You name that emotion. It usually helps to name the source. And you put two fingers over your chest, and you have to make a conscious decision to be able to release and detach from that situation, emotion, person, their feelings. So what I did is I put my hands on my chest. I pressed my fingers on the center of my heart, and I chanted my own name. I just felt like I needed to. And I chanted my own name. And it just means I just said my name over and over. I wasn't trying to sing or anything. I was just, I just felt like I was calling out to my heart. I just felt like I was calling my heart to come out, to come out of the hole, the dark hole. I felt like the heart part of me, my heart, my personality, my love, everything that the heart represents and stands for, all of that about me was just hiding in this little dark spot, place sort of lost of its light, of its home, as if I took my heart away from its home, put it in a dark box, and then replaced its home with somebody else. With somebody else's energy in their universe, in their heart, I suppose. So I called my name until I felt it ache. I started to feel it ache. And that was me, because my heart was hurting. So I apologized to my heart for being away. I apologized for allowing someone else to replace the spot where it should be, where my heart sits, in that like sort of like, you feel it, you know, when you get a broken heart, you feel your chest hurt. Like there's a reason for that. Like when your heart,
you can actually like feel like a physical pain there.
Yeah, like when somebody like, you know, really like hurts you or breaks your heart, and that's why the expression says breaks your heart. Like when you lose something, when something that you love is no longer there.
Yeah.
You don't feel it in your leg. You don't feel it in your back. Like you feel it in the center of your chest. And there's a reason for that. So I asked my heart to be a part of my life again and a part of me again. I promise to appreciate and protect my heart so it doesn't have to be afraid and go into a dark hole again. And I don't know what happened, but like all of a sudden this information came at me that the dark side is just what happens when the heart has been abused, hurt, tortured so much that it has been drained of its natural light and it goes into a dark space or shrinks or retreats into a dark space. To come out of the dark side, the darkness, or to relight your heart in that area, you have to call out to your heart, recognize the abuse that you put it through, apologize for that hurt, for allowing it to be hurt, for the hurt happening. Ask for forgiveness for not recognizing and paying attention and protecting your heart, for not recognizing that your heart needed love. It needed extra attention. Apologize and ask for forgiveness for not focusing on it enough. And ask for your heart to be a part of you again. Promise to protect it and honor it and comfort it whenever you need it. And that's the end of my notes, but I just wanted to like really share that because that was the topic of what our conversation was, my conversation with Oscar was. And Oscar, please, if you will you please share about the atoms and the particle for me once again, please?
Yeah, well, first off, just to like kind of go over what you said, like, your heart, will never like succumb to darkness. That's probably what you felt, but it's always there. The place for compassion and love and understanding and patience. It's there and it's always gonna be there. Sometimes we get lost because, like we get, kind of chained up by our thoughts. And remember, thoughts and your personality are all things that have been like conditioned, through repetition. You've learned to be yourself. You've learned to have this personality. You've learned to think the way that you do. Whether it's positively or negatively. But you practice that. And sometimes our consciousness, when we don't meditate enough or practice focusing, in other words, it's really easy for our awareness to ride with our thoughts. And that's how we lose ourselves. And that's how we forget to tune ourselves into different frequencies that we're already like emanating. And one that we're talking about is the heart. What we label as like love, the human word love, it's energy. It's an energy that, we can't really comprehend, but we love it. We fucking love it. This very same energy, you can tune yourself into. As a matter of fact, it should be everybody's discipline to tune yourself before you get out of bed, because essentially, like, how you resonate is how your day is going to go. How the very reality that you are perceiving is going to play out. The very reality that you see, it's all an illusion. At the deep down molecular level, it's just energy vibrating really, really, really high at a certain frequency that gives it the appearance of density. It's an illusion, your reality. all of it. I mean, even your physical body. But in this dense dimension, you can learn to manipulate it. And how is becoming the very energy that actually underlies and bonds and ties up all of this energy that we call reality. And that is tuning into your heart chakra. So if you really want to manifest anything, if you want to heal, if you want to love, if you want to bring any person, place, or event to you, you got to tune yourself into this love. Tune yourself into the heart chakra. Meditate. That's what meditation is. It's focusing. It's the art of focusing. Being able to detach yourself away from thoughts and tuning into a frequency that your whole body now, can begin to resonate with. And as you know, Angie, and we know by, Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, like, it actually manifests in a physical level. When you place your attention, that's where energy will flow.
Yeah.
So when you place your attention into the heart, you now begin to manifest what is called heart-brain coherence. The heart now begins to send positive signals to the brain. The brain begins to release feel-good hormones, like dopamine, serotonin, what have you. And all you did was simply meditate in the heart. All you did was place your focus on the heart, and it already communicated what it had to do. So when you're vibing high, shit, good things are gonna happen to you. You're feeling good. You're in love with everybody. You want to give everybody a hug. You feel more limitless than limited.
Yeah.
You can feel like you can do anything.
It's like I came into like this understanding that my heart is a part of me, but it's also its own person. It's me, but it's also separate, and I can choose to have it a part of me or not. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but that's how I feel. I feel like as though I can learn to live. Like I can choose to live without working with those emotions. Like what emotions are attached to the heart? I would say love, joy, peace, compassion, empathy, all the beautiful emotions, honesty, integrity, all of those beautiful emotions are attached to like your heart, and that's what your heart, emanates. But I feel that a lot of people learn to live without their heart, and because they don't recognize that at one point they were working and they were living through their heart so much. Instead of using their hold on one second. Hold on. I apologize, everyone. I had to pause it really quick. That was my family members. So they're having a great time back there. But anyways, so what I was saying is that I came to the understanding that I felt myself, like I always lived through my heart, and I basically, one second. Okay, getting back to what I was saying. So, I felt like, at least for myself, and I think that this might help other people to understand, is that for me, you know how people say like you live with your heart on your sleeve, but it's more like, let's say for me, I grew up with everybody making decisions for me. And I believe that that's what I learned. I learned that I didn't have choice. So I sort of didn't make connection with my mind. I didn't understand that I have control over my own life, because everybody always controlled me, told me what to do. So I, in a sense, didn't live with that awareness that I have choice over myself and over my situations and over my life.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So I felt like that I was living through my heart because I felt like that was all I had. I didn't have choice over my life, but I did have love. I did have compassion. And I think that's why my heart is so big as it is because I allowed it to get so big, and I allowed it, but then I didn't protect it because I didn't have awareness to protect it. I didn't know that I could choose to protect myself because that choice has been taken away from me. It was always made for me. So I felt that I was living a lot through my heart, but never, I guess in a sense, living without a brain. And
I mean, you still need the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You still need the other one to make some executive decisions over here.
And then I felt like I hurt my heart so much that I went dark. Like it's sort of like it's as if you put your heart out to the world, you live through it, but then it's one hurt after the other. You get hurt so much that you no longer have a heart. It's drained of its light. It retreats back into a hole, and you forget, and you feel like something's missing, right? That feeling of something missing, you're lost. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to add before I lose it. It's not so much that you lose it because it's always going to be there, no matter what. No matter what, it's just you simply just kind of tuned into the lower frequencies. That's it. We're all energy, and and we need to take the responsibility to tune ourselves. Honestly, think of yourself as a tuning fork. Tune yourself to the right frequencies that will give you the physical manifestations of feeling good and feeling love and being one with everybody. You have that power. It's just simply directing your focus or your attention on the chakras. Think of chakras think of your chakras as like sunglasses per se. Like, say you get up and you're like, all right, how do I want to feel and perceive the world today? Let me choose. Should I go with the red chakra, which is just, you'll basically be in a state of survival. You put those sunglasses on, you step out and you see, you see the negative in everything and everybody. You see people fighting, like your very reality, what you're perceiving, will be filtered through these red sunglasses. Let's say, hey, you know what? Today I want to tune myself into some love. And you pick up the green one, right? The love sunglasses. We'll call them groovy sunglasses, right? And then, you step out onto your reality, and then all of a sudden, you just love everything and everybody, and you see the good in everything and everybody. And then, good things start to happen to you. And, we humans call them, coincidences, but they're not. They're actual, manifestations. Why? Because the very reality, or I should say, the very frequency that you have tuned yourself into, okay, the very sunglasses that you chose to put on, you are manifesting the very reality that you see, that you're perceiving through your 5 senses. We all have the responsibility to learn how to take our awareness and direct them to the energies that we want. And of course,
that was beautiful. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And you always got to vibe high no matter what, Angie. No matter what. Always vibe high. The lower chakras, they're just there for survival. It's a really dense energy. It makes you more particle than a wave, per se.
Yeah, you're right.
So always vibe high. Tune high. No matter what. No matter how shitty your reality, outside may be, take the responsibility to tune yourself into the right ones. and nothing will affect you.
When I was writing my notes, the funny ironic thing is that, like, in a lot of religions, that's what they ask you to do, is say the name of the God that you worship, and you ask that God to, like, become a part of your life. You ask that God's name, to come into your heart or something like that, And I thought that was just very interesting, that I was having this experience and with myself today, and it was with the heart. And I just want to point out that some religions, they don't have it completely wrong. There's some truth there. I feel like it's very limited truth. I feel like a lot of it has been misconstrued over the years. The rewriting of the Bible or the Quran or things like that. In that nature, stories get retold and told again in different aspects and different lighting to kind of, like, bend in the favor of the person telling the story.
Yeah.
But there's some truth there. So instead of, how they say, like, in Christianity in the Bible, is God is in us and He is us, or Jesus is us, or we are one with Jesus. So what is God? God is love. God is love. So if we are a part of love and we ask love, you could say Jesus, or it's in a sense, Jesus be in my heart. Jesus also being love, you basically asked love to come into your heart. You're basically just asking that emotion of love to just be a part of you again. And what is love? Love is you. So you're just basically asking yourself to become a part of you again. Isn't that insane? You're just asking yourself to be you again.
Yeah.
It's like you're just giving yourself permission.
To be your true self. Yeah.
Exactly.
To be your true self.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so funny because it's so simple. It's just we don't even recognize it. You know why? Because we're going through the world just living habitually. We're just doing things because that's what we've learned to do. Just like it's in our mechanisms. You ever feel like you're being a robot and it's the same routine over and over again? And why do people go to retreats? Because they need to get out of their norm, out of their robotic state. It's
to become themselves again.
Exactly, and you don't even need that. All you need to do is just like take a moment, recognize everything that's going on. Just focus, just like you said, focus on your chest area where that heart sits. And then feel, like, have I gone against my heart today? Have I gone against my morals? Have I gone against what I am and what I stand for? And when you start to feel like darkness or dark within yourself or guilt or all of these negative emotions, once you start to feel those negative emotions, I think those are warnings. Those are signs. When you feel a negative emotion, just stop and tell yourself, oh my gosh, like I haven't focused on my heart. I'm allowing darkness to take the place where my heart sits. I'm allowing guilt to sit where my heart should be sitting, where my love should be sitting. And then you just decide, okay, I'm not going to allow that to be where my love and my heart sits, where I should sit. You soon start to let those negative emotions run your life. No, allow your heart to be one with your mind, just like you said, coherence. And I think that that's the important, I feel like that's like the key to life.
No, it is. Imagine if everyone was like, tuned into their hearts and were just emanating and expressing themselves in their truest, most like loving form.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the world would be in a better place.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we can do this. We possess the capability of doing this. But it kind of takes practice. You gotta meditate. You gotta build up that focus muscle. Take your awareness away from your thoughts and from the path of all familiar things.
Mm-hmm.
And just take a moment and direct your focus elsewhere. Direct your focus and tune yourself into that frequency.
And I think,
That's it.
yeah, I think that's why a lot of people are going into like using different psychedelics, like herbal kind of treatments, and you like drugs, you could say, to try to like focus and have a different experience of life and all of this other stuff. Like I feel like that's why some people use those types of things, because maybe you do need to slow down, because your brain is just always going, ramping up, same old motions, same old habits every day, same thoughts. You've like trained yourself to receive the same thoughts every single day. You've trained yourself to be who you are. Basically what meditating is, or if you want to take a psychedelic or anything like that, or if you want to retreat to a vacation, what you're really wanting is to just slow your brain down. Just slow it down. Recognize all of the things that are, all of the energy, all of the emotions that are just all over you, inside of you, in your mind. Recognize the thoughts. All you want to do is just sort of find your inner voice again. Find your consciousness. Find your awareness. Find that voice that tells you who you like. You know who you are. You know when you're doing something and it doesn't feel right. You feel something bad and you're like, I don't know, I just feel really bad about this. But if you ever feel like, I don't know, like if I ever feel like there was a time where I couldn't recognize who I was, I had no idea. Because I had let everybody else make those decisions for me. So it was like I never listened. I did when I was younger, but as I got older, like it was like I didn't remember what I sounded like, my inner choice, what I really liked, so it was like it just literally takes practice. I feel like when people say, "Oh, I've lost myself. I feel lost. I don't know which way is right. I feel chaotic. I'm doing all of these things and I don't even know." Like when people are like that, like I honestly feel like they just forgot what they sound like, because they're so quick to receiving and accepting all of the thoughts that just flow through their head. It's just literally you forgetting what you sound like. And all you have to do is just, that's why people say, like, meditation, take it day by day, because you're literally just, every time you sit down and you meditate, you lay down, you meditate, or you can even walk and meditate. You're just taking a moment to find you again, to find your voice again. And it becomes easier. It becomes easier with time. And I kind of forgot where I left off, Oscar. Help me.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's really easy, for reality to, or I should say the external to influence the internal, or internal, I should say. I said eternal. But, well, you know what? It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. But, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but, it's just like anything. We're habitual creatures, so the more you practice something, the more the subconscious mind picks it up, and it now becomes automatic. So, your personality, how you think, how you perceive the world, that's all been conditioned through repetition. Okay? And you can change that. You can change that. And, like, you don't have, to let your thoughts, take you for a ride, for your thoughts to take you through hell, basically.
Yeah.
You don't have to allow that. Just meditate. Redirect your focus. Like, I had a crazy experience once, and like I remember, like for like a month, I used to work as an estimator for construction, and it was a really it wasn't so much a tough job, but it took a lot of energy out of you. Numbers and just high stress situations. I mean, of course, you're dealing with money, wheeling and dealing, and and also didn't help, that I also worked with very toxic people. So it just added, to the shitstorm, And And well, one day I remember, like, it was to the point where I was so lost in my mind that it's like as if I was like transporting myself or teleporting myself from one place to another. And I do not remember the time or even the steps that I took to get there. And I was like, what is happening to me? Like honestly, I'm so much in my mind that I'm like playing a fake reality over the reality that I'm perceiving.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm playing like a transparent film over the one I'm perceiving. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening to me? Like, I was being lost. I was being taken away, you know, from just being in the now and in the present, in this present moment, and being taken with my thoughts.
You didn't even remember?
No, yeah. I remember,
gosh.
like, honestly, like, my days will go by quickly.
Oh my gosh, like driving. You know, when you're driving, you just like, you're like, oh wait, how did I get home? Like, you didn't even realize.
Nope, exactly. And, you know, that's what stress does. You know, that's what stress does. And like, ultimately, it became, like, part of me. Why? Because every day I saw the same people who push the same buttons. I was around the same environment that began conditioning this way. It began, you know, like, mending itself to me. And, like, you know what to say, you know, neurons that fire together, they wire together. So ultimately, like, I was already anticipating, like, I'll wake up with anxiety because I was already anticipating the things I had to go through. Like, crap, you know, it's another day.
Do you think that if you knew what you knew now, back then, do you think that you would have stayed there and, like, learned how to, I guess, sort of focus on your... Do you think that if you learned how to focus on your heart more, that you could have at least...
Well, here's the thing.
Do you think that it would have been better?
You know, well, here's the thing.
I don't know.
You know, things happen for a reason, you know? And yeah. I'm glad I went through that. Because that's what prompted me to go within the heart. So I remember one day, it was a tough day. Like, I literally just literally got into my coworker's face. Like, it was that tough. And I came home, and, you know, like, I just wanted to lose myself. You know, like, I was that stressed. I just had so much pent-up energy, and, like, I could feel it. You know, like, I could just feel the stress and negative energy all around me. And, you know, I'd have anything, or, like, an escape. I'd have any substance around me. You know, I'd have alcohol or weed, which, you know, we shouldn't be, you know, using. But, like, I had no other choice. So I said, all right, Oscar, well, I mean, what are we going to do? You know, you can sit here, and, you know, you can let this negative energy, and you can let this, like, fester up in you.
Yeah.
And kill you. Or do something about it. And then I was like, you know what? You know, fuck it, let's try it. I'm going to go ahead and try my hardest to take my consciousness, my awareness, into my heart. So what I did is, like, I saw like a hand gesture, right, that you should do when you want to meditate in your heart chakra.
Yeah.
Called like a mudra, I guess. And that's where you put your index and your thumb together, right? And you simply place that on your chest. And yeah, I was like, okay, so how do you do this meditation thing? I guess you just gotta focus on something, you know, and, like, focus hard. So I did that. I focus on the sensation where my two fingers were placed on my chest. Sure, like the first 5 minutes, yeah, like, my thoughts, you know, wanted to, you know, take me, and like, each time, each time I thought I had my focus on there, my thoughts would grab me and all of a sudden throw me into, like, a different world, right? But I'm like, oh, no, sir, come on, just keep doing it, man, focus. And I remember I was focusing so intently it was like to the point where I was no longer my thoughts, like, they weren't there anymore. And then I began feeling this like butterfly feeling, like fluttering in my chest. And, like, okay, this is kind of weird. What's this feeling? And then I went ahead and focused on that feeling, on that, like, butterfly sensation, right? And it began growing. Like I could feel this energy, this vibrating, pulsating energy, just like begin emanating and radiating like out of me. And then boom, like all of a sudden I couldn't see anything. I couldn't really feel anything. I couldn't taste anything. Like I guess I would say like the only senses I had was kind of like I could hear a frequency. It was really weird. I can hear a frequency, and I wouldn't say that like I could feel, but it's like as if my consciousness or awareness was pulsating tiny to vast. Like at 1 second I was as tiny as an atom, and then all of a sudden I was the universe, and it was just pulsating. It really wasn't a physical sensation.
That's so cool.
It was more like I don't know, being this sensation, like being this vibratory energy. And at that moment, like everything like didn't matter. Nothing in the world mattered. And I remember just resonating with this energy, just writing it, and like the love that came from it, like I could not describe it. Like how I describe it to other people is like I feel it as if God was there. Like if He was the one, like holding me there. It was weird. And I remember I came out of the meditation. I sat at the edge of my bed, and I was happy. And like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, and like I don't care, but like I cried. Like it was like tears of joy. I didn't know how to explain it. And I remember, Angie, like, I can literally, like, almost physically feel, like, a pulsating energy, maybe, like, coming off of me, probably like a foot or 2 feet away from me.
I know what that feels like, yeah. I know what you mean.
Like, I remember, like, placing my hand about 1.5 feet away from my chest, and, like, I can actually feel the pulse, the energetic pulse.
You feel like... to me, you feel like there's like a godly presence, I guess you could say. It's like, or you could think of it as like you've been blessed by the gods or something, or like it's, for me, it kind of feels like, it sort of feels like I became a goddess, or I put on a crown, or for some reason I put on my robe of like, that I should wear for my throne. I don't know, it's so weird. It feels like I come into like this whole other like, being like my true self. It's crazy. And check this. The next day at work, right? So I woke up. I was still feeling this energy. Like it was just flowing through me, right? The next day at work was the best day of my freaking life. Like it was so great.
Like not only were my 2 toxic coworkers tolerable that day, like I was actually smiling and hugging them. Like I was seeing like synchronicities, like 111. It was unbelievable. Like that day, like it was amazing. Like good things were just happening.
Oh yeah, the whole number thing. So that's crazy. I had a friend ask me. He posted something on his Snapchat, and it was like 2223 or something. And I was like, oh, look, 222. I was kind of joking. And he's like, oh, my numbers are actually 333. And I was like, oh, you see numbers? Oh, you see those? That's cool. And we're talking. And he's like, I don't really know what you're talking about. And I was like, I don't know. But my interpretation of seeing like 3 numbers in a row is literally just the universe kind of pointing out to me, that I'm on the right path in some sense. Like, I guess if you look them up, there's meanings for all of them, but I don't know. I just take them as like little things of advice. It's just like you said, like when you're vibing in such a high energy and you're in that area where you feel love and you're sharing it, and you're just like you're being like you're living in that like sort of happy space. And if you're an energy and if you're a frequency and you put that off, wherever you go, like it's your that atmosphere is going to absorb some of that energy. And I think, and honestly, in my opinion, seeing those numbers is just telling you that, that's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in love with life. You're supposed to be there.
Yeah, little reminders.
Yeah, exactly. Little reminders that whatever you're thinking about, or whatever you want, or whatever you wish, or your goals, or things like that, that you should focus on those. Focus on those, and like, I don't know, it's just like my kind of remembrance. Whenever I see those, I think, yeah, remember my goals. I'm going to remember my goals. Remember what I truly want in life. It's like, yeah, exactly, like a reminder to remember who you are and that you have control.
Yeah, do.
I don't know. I feel like there's more to it. And do you know any, like, explain like your knowledge on numbers?
You know what? I don't know. Like,
I don't know too much either.
I don't know. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say like.
Well, that day when you were seeing those 111s, how did you feel?
No, yeah, that day, like, it was weird. Like, it was just like who the hell would write this? So, for example, like, I remember my boss was like, "Hey, Oscar, he's like, what time is it?" I'm like, and I go ahead and look at my computer, and I was like, "Oh, it's 11:11." He's like, "All right, come on, let's go have some lunch." I was like, "Okay." Yeah, he wants to take us out to lunch. That's cool. And then, once we get done eating lunch and, have a couple of drinks, have a good time, he's like, "Hey, let's go ahead and go to the gun shop." All right, cool. Let's go to the gun shop. We arrive at the gun shop, and then all of a sudden, there's I think it's a comic book store, or I don't know what it was, but it was like adjacent to the gun shop, because it's just like a little strip mall there, and they had like a piece of paper like taped on the front door, and I went to the piece of paper, and it said the most like ridiculous thing. Like, who the hell would write this? It says, "Sorry, we're closed. We won't be back till November 11th at 11:11 a.m. And I'm like, what? Like, that is so random. Like, why 11:11 a.m.? And and just like, what the heck? And like, that just kind of goes to show you like how you're responsible, how you perceive your reality. You're putting your reality together. You're interpreting your reality.
Yeah.
But it depends on what type of frequency you're in.
Yeah.
What type of sunglasses you choose to wear that day.
Oh my gosh, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of when you said, or Dr. Joe Dispenza said, that, what is it again? That the universe does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are.
Exactly.
When I heard that, I was like, that's so crazy!
Exactly.
That's so true!
It's just, really, really, man, it's all about like your vibration. Just like what Nikola Tesla said, it's like, and like, I don't want to like botch this up, but he said, if you want to know the keys to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And you know what, Angie?
And time.
That's what it's about.
Is time there?
That's all it is. Everything is just energy. You, me, the trees, the air we breathe, everything.
Oh my gosh, I love when he breaks it down to like atoms, about how even like I can't say it, on a molecular scale. Oh. On a molecular scale.
That's all right.
Like there's like,
we've all had a long day here.
you have like negative and positive. Those are energies. Those are symbols for energy. Negative energy, positive energy. Electrons, neutrons, protons. That's like, just think about that. Just think about that alone, and it just like blows your mind. It's like, it's so true. It's so right. Even on a molecular level, still energy. Just what is matter? What is matter? Matter is literally just like you were telling me earlier, like you even said this, that it's like just a bunch of atoms stacked up in a certain way to make that appearance in that object, and we are literally just receiving like it's like a reflection sort of base, and those like that. I don't know how to explain it. Can you explain it? You're better at this.
Well, I think we're talking like about like the physical reality that you're perceiving.
Yes.
That
it's
like
just
all
a bunch
it
of
is
atoms. It's energy. Go ahead.
Yeah. All it is just energy, and in this frequency, in this dimension, you should say, the frequency is lower, right? Mm-hmm. And as you know, and it's like through the study of cymatics, if you're familiar with that, like sound or frequency actually affects matter. It actually like it actually will influence matter to, I guess, like organize itself in a certain geometric pattern. So, like in this dimension, this physical reality that we're perceiving right now at this moment, like it's all energy, but it's dense energy, because the frequency that we're in, that this reality is in, it's low energy. It's a low frequency. So it gives you the appearance that the very energy that it's like binding, that it's influencing, is dense. It's physical, but it's not. Like, it really isn't. Like, I don't know. I don't want to butcher this. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but there's like there was a study done on like the electron. I think it's called the Heisenberg's principle. You know what? We'll just call it the H principle, all right? But so basically, it was just a study, and like just to paraphrase it, if awareness is placed on the electron,
I think isn't it Heisenberg?
Is it Heisenberg?
I think he wrote a book. I'm not sure. Anyways.
Watch, go ahead and Google that, because that's going to bug me now.
I can't, I'm recording.
No, that's right. Well, so they discovered that, I guess, the electron is both particle and wave. And you're like, well, wait a minute, how is that? How can it both be a particle, something dense and fixed, and all of a sudden at the same time be a wave? And they found out that it's you who actually affects that. Your consciousness, your awareness. So they found that when awareness or an observer is looking at the electron, that the electron actually will actually fix itself. Like it'll. When you look at an atom, you immediately like collapse it into a very dense particle, right? And as soon as you look away from it, it becomes a wave of possibility. It can be anything that you want, right? But it depends on the observer on what like frequency he's on. So again, if you're on this shitty frequency, you're gonna see some shitty stuff. You're gonna put together some really crappy manifestation of reality. But if you're like in a state of love, a state of coherence, well, you're gonna have a really good time. You're gonna learn to enjoy life and play with this illusion called life. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if I really got into the study, but yeah, basically, you are putting your reality together, and like science can back that up.
Yes, I love because that's so you and I, we love science. I mean, I like the whole medical side of it. Like, it really just intrigues me. So I think that's why I really got into Dr. Joe Dispenza's whole ideology and the way that he explains things on a scientific level. Like I'm
glad this man is alive, because
right?
He's literally merging spirituality and science together. Like, spirituality no longer has to sound like, all esoteric and all like, wishy-washy, like now there's actually physical
it's logical
data.
Now. Yeah. It's like, this is logical.
Yeah, it's all backed by science now.
Yes.
Or you should say
this
it can all be
also
understood.
Scientific. Exactly.
Yeah, it can all be understood by the logical and analytical mind now.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. But
yeah. I guess I just want to say thank you, because you have always said this. You just always said, focus on your heart, Angie. You focus on your heart, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, shut up, Oscar. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I am. Like, get over it. Yeah. And then, like, I'm just like, I am focusing on my heart. I'm doing it, okay?
Yeah.
And then I figured it out in my own way. And I realized, damn, he means my other self. He means who I truly am. He means that spot where my heart hurts. Like, where you know that you have not been treating yourself good. You know you have not been listening to yourself and doing what is like your morals. Like, that's when you go against your morals, what you stand on, what you know is right. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your heart. It's like you're stabbing your heart, and then your heart, can no longer breathe, and then it just kind of like sits silent because you don't pay attention to it anymore. And that's like, and I just realized, I was like, yo, I have been, since I'm an empath, what I do, without even realizing I was doing this, I go around other people and I absorb like their love. I absorb who they are and their emotions and their feelings to take that place because I feel empty. I feel empty there, and I hurt. And I didn't know I was doing this. Once I like sort of like make a connection with somebody, I absorb them and I hold them in my heart. And I need that. And I need that sort of on a daily basis to feel that little like hole, because I don't want to focus on my heart. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I guess I just didn't realize. I don't know. I didn't like come to my mind that I wasn't, like, all you have to do is just say, I'm sorry. Like, all you have to do is just like forgive yourself, forgive your heart, recognize what happened, and just ask it to be a part of you again. Just like, make a conscious decision to have it take its place, and stop trying to fill your holes, your dark spot, your darkness. People say like that dark side.
That's why I say, form the discipline, and take the responsibility that before getting out of bed each and every day, that you create that feeling before you get out of bed and before you step out that door.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. I want to go off of that, because isn't that also the reason why people wake up and they right away grab their phone, check their social medias? You know why? Because you're trying to fill up your heart space. You're trying to fill up your chest, because you wake up and you feel empty. You know why?
You're trying to like vibe with the familiar. Like, this is who I am. This is my reality that I'm in. Okay, it feels comfortable again.
Mm-hmm. What do you do? Like, why do you get your phone? Why do you check your emails? Why do you go on and you check like to see how many people liked whatever photo or video that you put on like Snapchat or whatever? Why do you check that? Because you're literally reminding yourself who you are. You're just reminding yourself
who you think you are.
Yeah.
Who you condition yourself to be.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Exactly that. Who you condition yourself to be without even taking responsibility that you are doing it. Without even actually thinking about it, taking a moment, just stop and say, hey, do I really want to be this person today? Do I want to act and talk and be that person today? Because it's been so natural. It comes to you all the time, and then you become that person because you start to surround yourself with that energy because you've been giving off that energy. So now it's normal and it's easy to be that because you're vibing all in that. And then if you want, and then people wonder why they get so much pushback, or things start happening that are weird,
or not working out for them either.
Yes, you know why? Because if you try to change your frequency and you feel like there's some pushback, that's okay. It's just because you created an energy field around you, and you're trying to change that frequency. And you start to feel like things are going bad. No, things are going good. Your energy around you is just changing. You just need to keep in that same vibe. Keep vibing high. Like you said, stay in love. Stay in love with life. Stay there. Because sooner or later, that energy is going to start being absorbed by every single thing around you. And then things are going to start forming to be in your favor around you. You just got to stay there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be your time to shine. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, man, you're expressing yourself.
I love when you talk. I love when you share about like the heart and digging deep and loving yourself. I really want you to share more about that, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for sharing that and expressing that.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else like on the top of your mind that you just feel like you want to say? or tell me?
Just, you know, if we can conclude this interview.
Yeah.
Again, just meditate. You know, focus.
Ooh, like the tattoo on your arm where it says breathe. I love when you talk about that.
Yeah.
I love when you talk about your tattoo, breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got this because, you know, anxiety, you know.
Just breathe. Hey, Oscar. So I just want to extend a thank you from Vicky and I, both. We've been trying to get you on a podcast, and it's been, and you know how life has been. But we want to thank you as a team for taking this crystal walk with us. Thank you so much again. It was absolutely a pleasure, as always.
Of course, you know, thank you for having me on, and I really did enjoy this. It's pretty awesome.
It was.
And yeah, let's do this again.
Okay.